So we've been very thoughtful around how we approach DAO and sort of what that looks like for us. I think the rules are unwritten, and that's what's appealing to us about this space, is that we can decide what it means to be a part of a DAO, what it means to contribute, to be participants, to be a part of building it together. And for me, that's what attracted me to this space. Like, how do you build a community that has aligned incentives, that has a flywheel effect, that feels invested in the success and failures of the community? All of that is incredibly powerful. And how do you wield that and use that to bolster something bigger than you could ever create independently just in yourself? But again, because the rules are unwritten, you're figuring that out with absolutely zero handbook to do it. And so there's a lot of things that are really difficult about it that you're testing and iterating, and allowing for that flexibility, I think, is really important, and allowing for people to try things and maybe it works or maybe it doesn't, or for your opinion to shift and change as you are in the work is vitally important to being successful, in my opinion, especially in sort of this nascent stage of DAOs that we're in right now. So thinking about how we've done that at Boys Club is we really we're thoughtful about, one, how do you become a part of Boys Club? It's application gated. It's not token gated. Our Discord is capped at 2,000 members. That's really intentional because we want people, wherever they are in their journey, to be able to participate in Boys Club. We want to make sure we're bringing in the right types of people to the community that have, a vibe check to make sure that we're all sort of a part of designing the future that we want to see. Similarly, but we didn't want it to be you have to have a wallet set up. You have to be, ready in all of these ways, show up in a certain way, because that leaves a lot of people out of the conversation. So that was one intentional decision. The next is really around contribution and participation, as you're speaking to. So we had the first season of the DAO where we were working on validating a minimum viable community is really the work that we started to kick off, and really approaching the work from an early stage startup sort of perspective of how do we get to validation quickly? How do we make sure we're not building out a ton of processes and tooling and integrations that are sort of cart before the whole horse in terms of figuring out where are people actually interested in being a part of this? Where do they want to contribute? How do we need to track that? What needs to be on chain? What doesn't? And allowing just a ton of flexibility in that. So you can think of Boys Club as a bunch of concentric circles. So there's the audience, which is boundless, community, which is really about 2,000 members. And then there's the DAO, which is in the center. And the DAO is a much smaller group. It's actually contribution gated. So coming all the way back to your initial question, to be able to vote on how we're spending the treasury, to be able to be a part of the DAO of Boys Club, it's by contribution. So we really like that model for many reasons, one of which is you can have say over what Boys Club looks like in the world if you have some skin in the game and you're a part of making Boys Club a reality. And that feels like a really important tension for people to hold. And then secondly, that means it's open to anyone. It's not about some, financial gating, some token that you purchase in order to be a part of Boys Club. It's really about, your time and attention and your care being put into the community. And we're in an interesting moment right now for Boys Club where we're going from season 1 to season 2. We did a big restructuring of our guilds. There's a blog post that's coming out that the DAO ops team has been working on that's really thoughtful sort of documentation around those changes and what we've done to be most efficient, the pain points that we had from season 1 and how we've transitioned into season 2. So a lot more I could say there, but I think for us, a big learning has been, how do you make sure in a community, there's always going to be this small nucleus of people who are incredibly engaged, hugely participatory. How do you make sure that those core people are the people that have the loudest voice, the biggest say in the community, because they have the most care for it? And so we've tried to make decisions that feel right for the whole of the community, but also protects that core group having the loudest voice in decisions we're making.
About our financial system